UFC Kansas City. These are the full card predictions and the betting breakdown. I'm looking forward to talking about each of the matchups on this card. So make sure you guys smash the like button. If you're new, subscribe, turn the post notifications on, and make sure you share the video too. And also note, I will be live for the entire card Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Don't miss the fight companion. And let's get into the first fight of the night. Ladies going after it. We got Chelsea Chandler versus Jocelyn Edwards. The pick is Jocelyn Edwards. I think she beats a Chelsea Chandler. Chandler hasn't even made 135 pounds in her entire UFC career. I don't understand how she keeps getting fights at bantamweight. Edwards missed a weight in the last fight as well. Now, as far as the stylistic matchup, okay? Yes, Chelsea Chandler has that Stockton pressure boxing hands, kind of awkward Diaz flow. She isn't super precise, and I don't even think she's in like super primed condition. She's got some boxing. That's what I'll say about Chelsea stand up. She does have, solid enough jujitsu. She's a brown belt. She's pretty like strong girl, decent build on her, right? Not like super muscular, but like broad shoulders and like a wide frame. Jocelyn Edwards, she's been at this for a long time, though. She's a pretty tactical kickboxer. She strikes pretty damn well. She's got heavy kicks. I feel as though, I don't know, it's like easy to be negative towards her at times when you look at the earlier UFC run, but like I'm seeing consistent improvements, right? Over the years, she's gotten better everywhere. The grappling, especially, has started to improve. And when I look at this matchup here, I see the speed advantage towards Jocelyn Edwards. Grappling defensive abilities are quite capable. She's the better athlete between the two. I think she could even work reversals if this fight does get to the ground, find her way up to her feet. Chandler probably has a slight grappling advantage, but I just don't think she's like a beastly wrestler that can drag her down and just consistently beat her up. I feel like it could turn into a heavy striking fight, and I see Edwards with better speed. And if Chelsea Chandler ends up making weight, it could be to her detriment because her body just doesn't seem to respond. I mean, you coming in at 141 for a fight in the women's bantamweight division. Fight before that, she weighed in heavy again. She was 137, a little bit better. Edwards last time missed weight too, so it's not like both aren't sus at making 135. She was 39 last time, and she's missed weight multiple times. So two girls that kind of aren't even women's bantamweights, or at least not consistently. I think Jocelyn Edwards is slightly more effective in striking. When I watch her stand up, I say, okay, she's more tactical, she's cleaner, and she has more weapons. She uses her legs better. Chelsea Chandler is relatively boxing heavy, got a little bit of fat on her punches, but like she can kind of flow a bit with the hands. Not a great wrestler, but can like smother you up and find ways to drag you down. I think Jocelyn Edwards' takedown defense at this level should be okay. She's got a lot more pro experience. This is what, her 21st pro fight. For Chelsea Chandler, it's only her 10th pro fight, so double the pro experience. Younger girl, Jocelyn Edwards, been in the UFC for a bit longer too. She's had some ups and downs, but ultimately, I think she's still consistent and showing that she's getting better every time. Last fight, I mean, she took out Tamara's Vidal in relatively impressive fashion. I know Vidal is nothing special. Chandler on the opposite side lost to Yana Santos, who's okay, a decent journeywoman that, kind of somehow teeters at the top 15. Fight before that, a win over Josiane Nunes, which at the time actually meant a lot. But my God, Nunes has fallen off after getting dusted by Priscilla Cachoeira. I think Edwards can win a 29-28 decision. It's going to be a competitive fight. It's most likely going to be a distance fight, and I'll favor Edwards to find a way to do slightly more damage and get it on the scorecards. Now, the odds are just way too wide for a low-level women's MMA fight. So you got minus 300 for Jocelyn Edwards. I don't think anybody in their right mind is like, yo, that's my fucking lock. I'm throwing down heavy. No, probably not. Chelsea Chandler's a plus 250 dog. I could see some Chelsea Chandler love, but she's really not that good, man. She's really not that good. And I'll forever be haunted by her sprinting away from Norma Dumont. Minus 450 for the over 2.5. That makes a lot of sense. Most likely, I think all rounds will be met in this matchup. And I'll say Jocelyn Edwards can nab two of them, potentially three. quicker striking, good enough grappling defense. I think she lands some bigger punches. Gonna have a little bit of a reach advantage, which I like here. She's also gonna be the same height as Chelsea Chandler, so she's not gonna have that like ability to like physically bully the opposition, right? Because she's taller than, I believe, every one of these opponents. Yeah, she's been taller than all of her UFC opponents so far. And now she has a girl that's, the exact same height as her. I think for Jocelyn, that helps. She's a pretty good size bantamweight. I mean, shit, neither of them are really bantamweights. They can't consistently make weight for shit. Yeah, I'll go with Jocelyn Edwards. I think she wins to start the night off. Ladies W, Edwards decision. Let's keep running. Next fight, we got Timmy Cuamba versus Roberto Romero. Cool matchup of prospects. I got to go with Roberto Romero because I just think he's a grittier fighter. Timmy Cuamba has a pretty fast 1-2. He moves well laterally, and he does have like decent hand speed overall. And I'd say he's got some, relatively good boxing, right? For the level that he's at, not for like the elite level, but he can throw punches pretty nicely. He definitely eats a good shot. Now, he gets knocked down a good amount. But when I say eats a good shot is he does find ways to recover and survive after getting hit with some bombs. He had the performance of a lifetime in his debut at lightweight against Balaji Oki. He was able to give him a run for his damn money. Then he drops back down to 145 and takes on, a flawed journeyman, but still a tough, customer in Lucas Almeida. And he gets the absolute shit kicked out of him. He got his ass kicked, okay? He got his ass handed to him. Timmy Cuamba got destroyed by Lucas Almeida, and I don't think that's a good look, getting dropped several times in that fight. Doesn't have head movement. That's why he gets hit a lot. That fucking right hand is open on that chin for him. He just doesn't move his head. He's got decent speed, but no movement of the head. The head is on the center line the whole damn time, okay? So extreme hitability with relatively good movement, but at times I just think the openings are just too viable for the opponents. The opposite side, Romero's got that gritty kind of Mexican style, right? High guard in the close range, rips big power shots. He's got some hand speed. He's got actually really good kicks. I like his kicks to the legs and his kicks to the body a lot. They're snapping kicks. You can hear the sound of them and you can see the speed on them. Does also have some hand speed too. I say he's a relatively scrappy striker. I don't think he's a bad grappler either. He's a tough customer. And I would say in close range, I see him nailing Cuamba with some big shots. I favor the punching power on the side of Romero. I'll say lateral movement, I would favor the side of Cuamba, but I don't know if I can even go as far as to say that Cuamba has better footwork. I don't think so. I think that Romero may even do a better job of like cutting off the cage. He's going to have to deal with a Cuamba who's probably going to attempt a more tactical approach to the fight with a lot of the lateral movement, using the big cage to his advantage, whereas Romero is going to look to press. Romero has good fighting on the inside. He rips heavy shots, but because of his kicking arsenal from the mid and long range, I think he'll find success attacking the legs of Cuamba here. And I also think he'll find even some success with some snapping body kicks, which will slowly but surely bring the guard down, open shots up over the top. I think Romero's going to land some big punches in this fight. I think he could even drop Timmy Cuamba at some point. To be real, Timmy Cuamba didn't look great on his Contender Series debut with Mateo Vogel. It was a good fight, but he didn't get signed from that fight. He came in on short notice for the Oki fight. I think, a lot of people felt he lost that fight against Vogel. It was competitive. You can score it, either way, essentially. But ultimately, Romero's debut was kind of like a whoa debut. I know Balaji Oki, tough customer, and Cuamba gave him a good fight, but Romero fought David Onama, who is a real hot prospect right now. Romero dropped him in the first round, and he looked damn good in the first, 3.5, 4 minutes of that fight. Things did start falling apart where he showcased his toughness against a power hitter like David Onama, who's got a lot of experience now. Took it on short notice, gas tank, kind of waned a little bit later. And that has been a criticism of Romero, is in the third round, there is an evident slowdown. I feel like at the young age of 25 years old, a hole like that could be gapped up quick. And the cardio issues could potentially be overplayed leading into this matchup here because of, the debut, he got tired, and, a fight outside of the UFC, he ends up looking a little bit flat in the later stages. but I think his gas tank could be improved. I'll anticipate it's a bit better. I feel like Cuamba leaves openings. I feel like Romero, like I said, grittier fighter. I would favor his ability to eat a shot, to land a big shot, as more efficient than Timmy Cuamba. And Romero's got better head movement. So I think the slickness of the stand up, right, avoiding the straight punches of Cuamba for the most part, will allow Romero to have the bigger moments in the fight and find a way to win. I think decision or knockout are both live here. Cuamba has shown a good chin. Romero has shown some pop in his hands. I'm going to say Roberto Romero finds a way to get it done against, a tough customer in Timmy Cuamba, but it's a winnable fight for the Mexican Savage. I'm going to favor the Mexican Savage here in Roberto Romero finding a win. He's a slight underdog, minus 105. He was plus 140, okay, at open. So he was a big dog last week, actually. Cuamba, minus 115. So essentially an even money line on both sides, right? We can say underdog here or there, but pretty much even money for good reason, too. Over 2.5, minus 230. I do anticipate an over 2.5 with young prospects like this. I will favor the side of Romero to have bigger moments in the fight. I will favor the side of Romero to be able to potentially land a knockdown. Cuamba could make it close, but I think Romero outdogs him, outgrits him, outfights him, has a bit more thud in the shots. Cuamba does have a bit of sting, but I don't know. It's like he's got power, but at what level, right? He's knocking some of these guys out. Romero, I have to respect the hands. Like, to put Onama down is something you have to hold in relatively high regard. Cuamba getting fucked up bad against Lucas Almeida last time out. Not a good look. I think Romero could have a decent performance. So I'll say Romero finds a way to win with better head movement, even potentially faster hands, and more of a pressure-based style. I would prefer to pick the side of Romero to find a way, as opposed to Cuamba, who could he counter? Maybe. That's why it's 50-50, right? The reason the odds are so close is because you got prospects. 0-2 in the UFC, 0-1 in the UFC. But I think Romero's got a little more edge to him, and I'm going to favor that edge. I'm going Roberto Romero to win against Timmy Cuamba. Next up, we got the ladies going after it. We got Jacqueline Amorim versus Polyana Viana. Now, Jacqueline Amorim is going to be my pick, and she is a super hot prospect right now. Nasty Brazilian jiu-jitsu game, like really high caliber jits, but she did grab the fuck out of the glove of D-Mop last time. Like, you can't tell me, the hand was in the freaking glove, okay? But ultimately, Amorim's jiu-jitsu is good. I mean, she had the back of Sam Hughes early and nearly had her choked out in round 1, but doesn't get the sub and then gets outdogged by Sam Hughes. Sam Hughes, such a gritty customer and just one of those girls that's always live as a dog against prospects. So I don't want to use that as a significant mark against Jacqueline Amorim. Amorim is skillful on the mat, extremely skillful, solid enough takedown game, and I would say, pretty good jiu-jitsu, pretty damn good jiu-jitsu. Worry with Amorim, though. Her striking kind of sucks, though. Like, let's keep it a buck, all right? Her striking looks really flat. She looks like more of your traditional jiu-jitsu fighter trying to stand up. Now, I'm sure she's making improvements, and a lot of her game is probably being focused upon closing that gap and the lack of striking. But still, she's flat-footed, looks stiff at times, and when things go awry, and she can't nail that takedown, she does start panic wrestling, and I do not like it. You look bad against Sam Hughes in the second and third round, trying to panic wrestle, falling to her back. It's just something that I hate to see. And normally, I hate picking fighters that have that bad tendency. The issue is Polyana Viana is very subpar at grappling, and we have seen her kind of manhandled or woman-handled, you could say, on the ground in the past 2 fights. Now, she did go distance with Tabitha Ritchie a couple years ago. That was, almost 3 years ago now. So you got to give her some respect for that. Viana's got some striking. Her hands are good. She had that sick knockout of Jin Yu Frey. She got speed with her hands for sure, but takedown defense kind of sucks. Takedown defense sucks. Like, Viana's going to end up on her back. Then it's up to Amorim to, find the finish or be patient with the control, not gas herself out, stay safe if there are striking sequences, not overextend herself. The worry is this. The worry is Jacqueline Amorim has great success in round one, nearly locks up a submission. Viana finds a way to escape this submission attempts. And then round two begins. Amorim's gas tank starts to dwindle and it turns into more of a striking fight. And Jacqueline Amorim is unsuccessful in getting this fight to the mat. I would avoid the Jacqueline Amorim bet like the fucking plague, but I do think she has a clear advantage in the grappling skills. That's a little too obvious for me to pass up on the pick. But I think Viana has a bit of a chance though, because if Amorim fails with grappling in round one, like let's say she finds success but doesn't get her out of there, finds herself tired come round two, Viana could sting her with some punches, you know? And I think Viana's hands are quick. Viana's the better striker. Viana still is shoot the box, fighter. It's just that takedown defense is so subpar, man. It's so bad. It's so bad. Like she's gonna get taken down. It's just about to Amorim to be smart and stay calm. Like I hope that Amorim's team is pushing the mentality of positional control. Because if Amorim approaches this fight in a patient manner, gets this fight to the ground, but doesn't rush to shoot a submission, doesn't jump a ghillie and squeeze for the life of it, doesn't force a rear naked attempt that's not there, right? If she's able to contain herself and stay calm, she could do 3 rounds of grappling dominance on Polyana Viana, and I wouldn't be shocked. The worry is she could have those immaturity moments and make those mistakes like she did against Sam Hughes, gassing herself. But Viana is no Sam Hughes. And I think Jacqueline Amorim finds herself in a dominant position on the mat and probably locks up a submission. I'll say Amorim by submission or decision, the very much most likely outcomes in this fight. But I just have that weird worry because Amorim sucks in the stand-up game. I think, there's going to be improvements. I hope to see improvements. I hope she looks mediocre at stand-up this time. But I don't like her striking. I think she's got awesome grappling. But the stand-up, subpar. And Viana's got speed. Viana's a little awkward too, kind of, hands more so towards the waist, but swings power shots and definitely has legit striking. But, besides the Jin Yu Frey KO, like she's armbar and Mallory Martin. She's only beaten Cans. So I'll say Amorim wins by sub. If you told me Amorim was a -115 favorite or a -150, I would say, fuck, like I think she got a good chance, maybe a parlay piece. But my God, you're looking at lines of fucking -650. What the hell are we talking about? Yes, Amorim is good. Yes, Amorim's good on the ground. But my God, Viana, essentially these odds are telling you Viana has no chance. I don't agree with no chance. I think it's unlikely she wins. And I'm not trying to push the tail of, throw it all down on the dog. I'm just more on what value do you have, right? You want to put Amorim in a parlay? There's essentially no purpose at -650. She opened up at -250, much more parlayable. There's not much you can do at -650. Viana, I mean, she still is a fucking pro fighter. She's still active. She's not the worst fighter in the UFC. And I mean, to keep it a buck, like her losses as of recent, Jillian Robertson, good grappler, solid. Lucindo, solid overall, strong grappling for the most part, decent prospect. And Tabitha Ricci, solid top 15 girl. So it's not like Viana's getting smoked by Cans over the past 2 years, right? She's lost to girls with skill. I think Jacqueline Amorim does have really good grappling skill, though. So I am picking Amorim. It's not fun to pick a -650, though, especially one that's flawed like Amorim is. But I think she'll, show some improvements in the striking. And also I expect some calmness. The over is actually at plus money, plus 200. Like probably Amorim submission in the first or second round. That's going to be the official prediction, like probably there. But it could end up going long, and Amorim could do more of a positional dominance-based game. Tabitha Ricci didn't sub up Viana, but to be fair, Tabitha Ricci's kind of like overrated jiu-jitsu. To be real, at least what we've seen more recently. Overrated offensive threat of jiu-jitsu. She's turned into more of a boxer, realistically. Yeah, I'll say Amorim wins by sub. I don't know. Maybe I have too much panic. I don't think I do. No, I don't. The panic is fair. At -360, those odds are wide. At -650, the odds are a damn joke. But yes, Jacqueline Amorim should beat Polyana Viana and win by submission. Like, if that doesn't happen, that's a big upset, and Amorim is absolutely exposed against a journeywoman. Next fight on the card, we got Cameron Saaiman versus Malcolm Wellmaker. I'm going to go with Malcolm Wellmaker, dude. I know he's, the 30-year-old prospect, but he's good. He's 8-0 with lightning fast hands. He's accurate as hell on the feet. He's got good slickness and movement. I feel like he's too clean in the stand up. Now, I know the benefit side of Saaiman, a guy who trains alongside of Dricus Duplessis. He's a young prospect at 24. He's a tough kid because he got the shit kicked out of him against Peyton Talbot last time. He got fucking destroyed. He got destroyed by Peyton Talbot. He's a good pressure striker. He likes the spinning back fist a bit too much. I think he needs to limit that. He's got that very in your face, high output, high volume striking style. He's going to be looking to bring pressure. His stance switches are pretty decent. His gas tank, I would say, overall is, pretty good. Seems to have, the ability to work at a high rate for an extended period of time. But he's not as good at striking. He's not as clean at striking. The way he beats Malcolm Wellmaker is overwhelming him and Wellmaker gassing out. Malcolm Wellmaker is better. Malcolm Wellmaker is slicker. Malcolm Wellmaker has, I think, more skills in the stand-up department, especially. He cuts angles pretty well. He's accurate to the target with precise punching. He has real good knockout power. I feel like he's slick with pop, and I just think Malcolm Wellmaker is going to find a lot of shots on Saaiman. Saaiman attacks with that good pressure, but at times the hands drop, the chin comes up, he gets a little reckless, the head doesn't move a ton at times as he's looking to blitz, like there's openings to be had, and I think Malcolm Wellmaker is much more of a fast twitch athlete than Cameron Saaiman. And then let's add in some intangibles. 3.5-inch reach advantage. No, excuse me, 4.5-inch reach advantage from Malcolm Wellmaker, 71.5 to 67. 2-inch height advantage. I think Wellmaker is too good for Cameron Saaiman. Saaiman's coming off back-to-back losses. He's a tough customer, but I just don't think he's that good. And I think Malcolm Wellmaker has a bit more potential. I know at 30, you could consider him an older prospect. He's not, bro. Fuck the age. 30, the champ at 145, 36, right? Volkanovski gets to strap back at 36 years old. 30 is not old here in the fight game, especially in this modern era with, the people having more knowledge of like recovery and whatnot. Malcolm Wellmaker should beat Cameron Saaiman. I think he hits him with some stinging punches on the feet. I think he could hurt him. Wellmaker's been 5 rounds before. I like that. For anybody like, oh, well, his gas tank, he went 5 rounds and he won, and he looked to be in pretty good shape there against a dude who fought on Contender Series a while back. I'm going to say Malcolm Wellmaker finds some pretty clean shots to the face of Cameron Saaiman. Maybe even mixes a bit up to the body. I think Saaiman's going to try to pressure, but Wellmaker's just too good. I could see Saaiman getting dropped, man. Like Peyton Talbot did him dirty, man. Peyton Talbot beat his ass. Looked a little bit better against C-Rod, but C-Rod's short, man. C-Rod's more, of the similar size. Still, C-Rod handled business against him. I think Malcolm Wellmaker could drop Saaiman, could knock him out. Is it a guarantee? No. Definitely could see a hard 3. The odds are essentially even. At open, Wellmaker was a slight underdog at plus 120. I think that's kind of a surprise. I would anticipate Wellmaker to be a slight favorite. I know Saaiman's got that UFC experience edge, but I don't think so. I don't know. I watched Saaiman fight, and I'm like, he's got good pressure attacks. He's got decent flurries, but nothing really impresses me that much. Over 2.5 minus 180, under plus 150. I mean, we're live to go over, and it's a bantamweight fight, but I could see Wellmaker hitting him with a bomb and dropping Cameron Saaiman too. I mean, the wins for Saaiman in the UFC. Steven Kozlo, who's shit. Mano Martinez, he's a journeyman, dude. Terrace Mitchell, who's horrible. So, 3 okay wins if you add them all together. They're still UFC wins, but they're low-level UFC wins. C-Rod handled business against him, and he got destroyed by Peyton Talbot. Malcolm Wellmaker had a sick knockout of Bram Holds, who's still a 13-2 prospect, taking out guys that are 5-2. Now, this is the fight you're going to worry. He handled business against Taylor Moore, and Taylor Moore is a veteran of the Contender Series, and Taylor Moore's a tough customer, and that was a 5-round fight. And I think Malcolm Wellmaker's pretty good. I'm going to say that the hand speed advantage will be evident. He'll be faster on the feet. He'll be more precise on the feet. He'll be cleaner at striking. He'll be able to avoid Saaiman's blitzes, and his gas tank will hold up. And I'll say Wellmaker is live for the KO. I do think he could put Saaiman down and out. But, Saaiman, tough South African, so he could get dropped and stand back up. But either way, the pick, Wellmaker, to handle business here against Cameron Saaiman. Next fight on the card, we got Damon Blackshear versus Alatengheili. Damon Blackshear all day long. Come on. Get out of my face here. Damon Blackshear is going to handle Alatengheili. Alatengheili's style is kind of like pressure wrestling, but he does rip some okay overhands. You know, a guy that likes to close that distance, stay in your face. He wants to be in top position, and his striking, like I say, he's got the decent overhands, but a lot of times those overhands is like more so to set up the takedown. But where's the advantage here? Damon Blackshear is 5 inches taller. Okay. He's going to have what, a 6 inch reach advantage? Am I crazy? Is it 6? It's almost 6. He got a 72.2. All right. 5, as I say, a 5.5 inch reach advantage. Blackshear is a slicker striker. His kickboxing skill set is coming together. He nearly beat Mario Batista on short notice when he fought the weekend before and, got the twister over Jose Johnson. Goes tooth and nail with Mario Batista, who's now fighting Chito Vera, and beat Jose Aldo. Damon Blackshear is pretty good. I mean, you can write him off because Montel Jackson caught him with a big punch, but Jackson's got some slick hand speed. It was the perfectly timed punch. Follows up that loss, right, and bounces back like a savage, destroys Cody Stamann. And Cody Stamann, a short wrestler with some boxing, kind of like Alatengheili, but I'll be honest, I think Stamann's probably better than Alatengheili. And then, following that up with a win over Cody Gibson, who's actually like not bad. Cody Gibson's all right. Cody can strike. Cody can grapple. Cody's in your face. Cody's tall and long, so a little bit more of a physicality matchup that's similar versus Alatengheili, who's a lot shorter and a lot, stockier without the reach on him. Man, I think Damon Blackshear is going to beat Alatengheili's ass. I think he can take him down and beat him up. I think he can outstrike him. He's a lot faster. He's a lot more precise. I think Alatengheili is getting beaten down. It's more so about, can Damon Blackshear find the finish? This is really what I'm asking myself. We got one submission loss ever for Alatengheili, and it was back in 2015. But to be fair, you look at some of the guys that he's fought during his UFC run. Does any name that jumps out at you have the jiu-jitsu skill set that Blackshear has? I don't think so. Damon Blackshear is skillful at Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Damon Blackshear is strong at offensive and defensive wrestling, and he has quality kickboxing, and he's showcasing more and more wrinkles in his game every damn time we see him. I think Damon Blackshear is a top 15 fighter, at least on his path to being a top 15 fighter. I'm a Damon Blackshear fan. I won't pass that up. I absolutely am. I think Damon Blackshear is going to handle Alatengheili. Can he put him away? We shall find out. He's been fighting more violent than ever before. Alatengheili, short, stocky. I think he's getting beaten up on the feet. And I think, potentially submitted. But if not, Blackshear can beat his ass for 3 rounds. Damon Blackshear all day. Okay? All day. This should be a 5-1. It's minus 390. At open, it was minus 350. I think that it could easily be minus 500. I actually think that minus 650 for the Amorim fight, not saying I want it to be. My God, I hope it's not. But I think that would make more sense for this matchup here with Blackshear and Alatengheili. At minus 390, I mean, I still think, those type of lines suck, the width of it. But yeah, Damon Blackshear is going to absolutely handle Alatengheili. And it's not going to be close, dude. He should dominate this fight. And he should probably submit him, but Alatengheili, short and stocky, might be hard to get, locked up into a submission. So could this be Blackshear beating his ass for 3 rounds? Or maybe Blackshear ends up knocking him out, which would be major for his career too. Over 2.5, minus 150. Fuck the over. Blackshear's a lock. You can potentially, parlay him up. I think that he's going to win. I would be seriously shocked. Like if Alatengheili wins this fight, which he's not going to, I would be absolutely jaw-droppingly shocked. That will make no sense to me. Okay? So Damon Blackshear to absolutely dominate Alatengheili. There's levels. And Blackshear trending towards the top 15. Alatengheili, tough customer, but just simply put, no, not trending there. Let's keep running. Next fight on the card. Chris Gutierrez and John Castañeda. I'm breaking this shit down for what, the 10th time? And I'm honestly thinking differently leading up to it now because I've watched so much damn film on John Castañeda over the past month or two. I'm going to pick Chris Gutierrez. And the first time we made this pick, I was going Castañeda, but spending more time, I'm like, why am I picking against Chris Gutierrez? I really asked myself that question earlier today. I said, why would I pick against him? Why did I last time? Oh, well, he had kind of a tough fight against Kwang. Yeah, but he still found a way to win, and it was a weird short notice thing. It's like, oh, well, why am I going to pick against him? Oh, because Song beat him? Song just beat Henry Cejudo. Oh, why am I picking him? Oh, Pedro Munoz 2 years ago pulled it off before he was completely washed. His last fucking hurrah. John Castaneda is a gritty dude who's in your face with some decent punches, but he's not this monster of a presence. And tactical kickboxers can get the better of him. We saw Daniel Marcos handle him last time out. It's just, is Chris Gutierrez washed? I don't know. The problem with Chris Gutierrez, man, and this is the most real thing I'm going to tell you, what I know of Chris Gutierrez is he has legit issues with confidence. And that is the motherfucking worst thing to gamble on. But that doesn't mean he doesn't have the skills to win a fight more towards the mid-level against a John Castaneda, who's going to be shorter. Now, somehow Castaneda's got a 4-inch reach advantage because Gutierrez just got the T-Rex arms. But, like, Chris Gutierrez's kickboxing is on point. Chris Gutierrez's lateral movement is really good. Chris Gutierrez's leg kicks are spectacular. And when Chris Gutierrez is on, he's one of the better strikers in the UFC bantamweight division. When he's off, he's shooting for leg locks and just doing dumb stuff. I don't know why that is. I hope that he comes into this fight with a steady game plan and doesn't like stray far from it and lose himself in the fight against John Castaneda and like try and wrestle him or jump for flying triangle or roll for a knee bar early in the fight, because then Castaneda could handle him. But I think that Chris Gutierrez can win this, man. Their last fight was supposed to take place March 8th, okay? It was at UFC 313, all right? So it's been a minute, and then Castaneda was booked for another one, and holy shit, man, fight's just falling through. Fight's just falling through, and now we get to see them face off. And yeah, I don't know, I have a whisper. I have a whisper in my ear. Light whisper, man. Light whisper tells me Gutierrez, like, split decision, but fuck betting on that. If you're on the gambling side of things. You're not on the gambling side of things, you're making a pick. Yeah, Gutierrez probably gets it on the cards. Gonna land some leg kicks, should land some popping punches, should avoid Castaneda's wrestling, probably gets taken down at some point. Castaneda probably has a couple moments of blitzing Gutierrez. If Gutierrez can keep it steady and make it more of a tactical fight, Gutierrez wins. If Gutierrez falls into Castaneda's pressure game, starts getting overzealous, gets taken down, starts losing confidence, then yeah, it's gonna go to shit. But I think Chris Gutierrez has the tactical skill set to enough of a level where I gotta pick him, man. I gotta pick him. Something tells me that Castaneda is not gonna beat him. Nah, not on this weekend coming up. Not in Kansas City. I don't know. The inkling towards the side of Chris Gutierrez hit me. I said, man, I think the leg kicks are there to be had. I think the strikes from range could be there. I think Castaneda can bring pressure, but Gutierrez can land clean shots. And then I really asked myself the question, because I was, selling the narrative to myself last time that, Gutierrez might be washed. 34 years old, though. Not washed. It could just be he doesn't want to fight anymore. If he goes out and looks like shit in this fight, then yeah, maybe he just doesn't love the game. But I don't know, man. A motivated Chris Gutierrez, I've seen him look like a fucking murderer. Whereas I've never watched Castaneda and say, yo, that guy could legitimately be in the top 10. I've never seen a moment of that from Castaneda. When Chris Gutierrez fucked up Frankie Edgar, it was like, dog, Gutierrez. When they booked the Munoz fight, I was like, no way, Pedro Munoz. And then he looks like shit and Pedro handles him. I think Chris Gutierrez, when he's on, he's fucking on. And you have to hope that he's on this weekend if you're going to pick him. And I'm going to pick him. I'm going to say I think that he's on this weekend. I got this hunch, man. I think Chris Gutierrez tactically outstrikes John Castaneda in a competitive back-and-forth style fight. He's able to avoid being put on his back for extended periods of time, chopping the fuck of that leg. I think he can hurt Castaneda's legs. And I think he can win this fight on the judges' scorecards. I'm going with Chris Gutierrez. He finds a way to win it. He's minus 140. Damn, the odds were even. Wow. Okay, Mr. Minus 140. Plus 120 for Castaneda. Guess I'm going Gutierrez as the slight favorite. I was walking in here thinking I was going with the even money. No, we're going slight fave, but fuck the odds. It is what it is. The odds essentially are, an extension of the pick, but not to be too worried about when making picks. You got to see the fight as it is, and then the odds come after. And I think Gutierrez wins. Fuck the odds aside. I mean, minus 140 is not horrible. If you want to bet him, you want to bet Gutierrez, you're like, yo, I like the close money. I like his leg kicks. I agree with you. But remember, this is not a video game. We don't get 100% Gutierrez coming in with all the skills there. Bang, 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 ready to go. Could have Gutierrez in his head, panicking, having anxiety in the back, overthinking in the cage, gets hit with one big shot and kind of loses confidence. So things could go awry, is what I'm trying to tell you. But if Chris Gutierrez stays mentally strong, if he stays motherfucking headstrong, I think he can win. So headstrong Gutierrez, headstrong to take you on. That's what I want. I want him listening to that song. He should walk out to it because he fucking needs it. Minus 140 Gutierrez, over 2.5, minus 350. Yes and yes. We'll say it goes over, and we'll say Gutierrez on the judges' scorecards. So give me Chris Gutierrez to win. Let's keep on running up the card. Next fight. This is a late notice replacement fight. Evan Elder versus Gage Young. He was supposed to fight Hassanzada, and then Hassanzada did some fuck shit, man. He's a sicko, bro. He's out of the UFC already. A little SA, okay? So you can look into that after the fact. I'm not going into details on that, but I'm glad Hassanzada is gone from the UFC. He's an absolute creep. Evan Elder versus Gage Young. The pick is Evan Elder. I like Evan Elder style, man. Evan Elder's a fun guy to watch, man. He's got a lot of potential. Now, Gage Young's a gangster, too. But Elder got 4 years on him in age. He got that UFC experience. And, bro, when you really think of Evan Elder's lightweight run, pretty damn impressive, all right? Handled Darius Flowers. So, yeah, he's a journeyman, but, Flowers can still scrap a little bit, but I'm getting to it. General Valdez dropping him multiple times. Nice win. Lost to Nazim Sadikov, cut stoppage. He was winning that fight. Sadikov went on to handle business against Ismail Bonfim. Okay, so you got to give some respect to Nazim Sadikov, but then you got to give it right back to Evan Elder because Elder, he's good at 155. He lost to Preston Parsons at 170 3 years ago. That's an early run. Gage Young has not fought that level. Yes, Quillen Salkild and him went at a nice back and forth fight on Contender Series, and Salkild made a hell of a debut running through Anshul Jubli. But, bro, it's Anshul Jubli. Chill. It was a nice, quick knockout, but it's Anshul Jubli, okay? Anshul Jubli is pretty bad. When I look at this matchup here, I say, okay, Evan Elder, solid boxing combinations, good hand speed, good pop in his hands. I get this Poirier vibe from him. He is the orthodox Dustin Poirier. That's the vibe that I get. I think he's got good amount of potential. I see a well-rounded skill set, and I see a guy that's coming together at 28 years of age, and someone that I'm excited about, man. I like Evan Elder's abilities, and now Gage Young stepping in, 1 week's notice, essentially. He's a good up-and-comer. He's got power in his hands for sure. He's well-rounded, some solid wrestling. Did kind of get outworked in the wrestling with Quillen Salkild, but normally okay offensive wrestling. Good kickboxing skill set. I'd say he seems pretty well-rounded from what I have seen and is definitely a tough prospect. But, man, you're going from Eric Grant, who's 6-4 as a pro, and now you're fighting Evan Elder, who's a UFC veteran, been on the roster for nearly 3 years, 28 years of age, absolutely still striving towards his prime, but definitely closer to it than the young Gage Young is. I can't pick a Gage Young to win, but I think he's, a good addition to the UFC. I like his style. I like his grit. I don't think he quits on himself. I think that Evan Elder's a better boxer than him. I think Evan Elder can stop wrestling attacks from Young, and I think Elder could get on top of him and beat him up a bit. I'm going to say Evan Elder wins this fight, man. And if you look at the opposition, right, just look at the past few. Yes, a Quillen Salkild fight. Salk is a decent prospect, but still prospect status, and Salkild beat him. Josh Tully, 5-5. Yeah, he knocks him out. That's sick. You should do that to him. But the level is completely different, and that's only a year ago. 2-7. Wow. Okay, and then, 13-8. Muro's a, gritty journeyman. I think Muro's doing BKFC. I don't remember if it's exactly him. The name's familiar. I think it's BKFC, but don't quote me. I think Evan Elder wins his fight. Excuse me, especially a short notice. Gage Young coming in here, trying to jump levels too fast. I mean, listen, I respect him taking the fight on short notice. I'm happy to still have Evan Elder on this card, but I don't think he is, being Gage Young, I don't think he is ready for Evan Elder's more well-rounded abilities, and I think that the sharpened blade goes out there and wins. So I'm going with Evan Elder to pull through. He's a talented prospect, and he is currently a minus 250 favorite. Wow. Not surprised. Gage Young plus 210. I think Elder wins. I think Gage Young could go distance, though. Depends on the shape he shows up in. But Evan Elder does crack a bit. And if Elder is landing some heavy shots, he can do it all, too. He's got a submission threat from top. He could club and sub Gage. Over 2.5, minus 2. I wouldn't chase an over, but I do think Evan Elder wins. He's minus 250 as the favorite. Should have a more well-rounded arsenal. Definitely a better boxer. I think he's physically stronger also. Probably poses more of a submission threat as well. And also, I mean, 5'10", 5'9", little size advantage, a little reach advantage. Things should favor Evan Elder in this matchup here. And I'll say that he beats Gage Young. I say Evan Elder for the W incoming. I feel like he handles business. I like his skill set. I want to see more from him. I want to see him fight more often. He fought, what, 9 months ago, and then a year and 9 months ago. So, hopefully we can see him this weekend, and then maybe at the end of the summer if he comes out unscathed, because I like him to get the ball rolling and get some more UFC fights coming. So shout out Evan Elder to the win. I think he handles Gage Young. Win, Elder, getting it done. Against a tough short notice replacement, though. The kid's good, the kid's tough, and I respect him stepping in here. Let's jump to the featured prelim of the night. We got Matt Schnell versus Jimmy Flick. Whoa, whoa. Oh, I'm making a pick on this one. Um, give me Matt Schnell, bro. Give me Matt Schnell, who has lost, 4 of his last 5 to beat Jimmy Flick, who's lost 3 of his last 5 and retired from MMA after beating Cody Durden. I thought that was the strangest thing ever. I remember when it happened. I remember watching Jimmy Flick beat Cody Durden, and I picked him to beat Cody Durden, and he retires from MMA. I was so damn confused. I'm like, one in the UFC. Like, what? Why are you retiring? Decides to make a comeback, a couple years later, and then gets fucked up by Charles Johnson. It's fucked up by Alessandro Costa. Is able to find a win against Gordon, but had trouble in that fight too. And Nate Maness. I mean, bro, Nate Maness beat his ass for 3 rounds. What Jimmy Flick showed in that fight is he does have a bit of a chin. He's not a glass Joe, even though he's been TKO'd a handful of times. The issue is, though, Matt Schnell is fast. Matt Schnell's got hands. Matt Schnell's got boxing combos. When he's on, Matt Schnell is still dangerous. He does get hit a lot, but Jimmy Flick doesn't bring that threat in the striking. You know what the worry is for me here? I got to take a fucking sip of water. Choking over here. You know what the worry is for me here? You want to know what it is? It's Matt Schnell in a brawl, having success, and then getting caught in some weird submission. Because Jimmy Flick does have that weird submission threat. He's got good jiu-jitsu. But Schnell should be so much better at striking. He's just, all Schnell does is brawl like a psychopath at this point. He had a really fun fight against Cody Durden, and he got subbed up last time. It's kind of crazy that Jimmy Flick beat Cody Durden years ago. Kind of a, I don't want to say it was a fluke, though. He got the triangle, but Matt Schnell should beat him, dude. Matt Schnell, listen, he's a tough SOB. He's a scrappy son bitch, all right? Action-packed fights every time. He's a brawler. He's got good pop in his hands, though. He can mix up some boxing combinations. Probably washed, but how far gone is he? Is he far gone enough that he can't beat Jimmy Flick, who kind of doesn't bring any striking threat? Like, Jimmy Flick is not good at striking. Jimmy Flick does have good Brazilian jiu-jitsu, but my God, the striking is flat-footed, and I'd say he completely lacks explosiveness. Matt Schnell should knock him out, or even Matt Schnell, pulling off a club and sub. It's just one of those situations where it's like Matt Schnell could somehow fumble the bag, but I don't think he does. I'm going to pick Matt Schnell to win. I think Matt Schnell is able to finally snap the losing streak. He retired. This is the thing. Matt Schnell also retired after his last fight. Then he decides to come back. Both these guys have retired from the sport and came back. So what the hell? Yeah, we're going to go Matt Schnell to win. I think he's faster at striking. I think he's more dangerous with kickboxing. I think his jiu-jitsu is actually not bad. He's a pretty good wrestler. Good game overall. Been fighting for years, man. Matt Schnell's been on the roster forever, delivering badass fights, and they're kind of trying to throw him a softball. So as long as I was going to say if he fights smart, but does he ever? Does Matt Schnell fight smart ever? Not really. But if he chooses to have, a more poised attack, bring a more calm approach to this fight, then, I think Matt Schnell could sting up Jimmy Flick with some big punches, work him in the stand-up. I mean, worst case scenario, do what Nate Maness did, avoid the grappling, outstrike him, and win a decision. I'm going to say Matt Schnell finds a way to win. We're going with Schnell. He's a minus 270 favorite. Really wide odds here. Jimmy Flick, plus 230. The over-under, it's like you want to pick under. over 1.5 at -155. Just the way Schnell fights, it's stupid to try and play an over here. But I do think it could go over 1.5 at -155. I think it wouldn't be crazy if Schnell was more tactical, but he just won't be, though. He won't. Schnell is a born brawler. Jimmy Flick, good jiu-jitsu, shiesty striking. I think Matt Schnell lands some big punches on the feet. Could be a back and forth. Flick tries and grapples. Schnell defends the grappling. I think Schnell could knock Jimmy Flick out. So I'm going to go Matt Schnell. I think he wins this fight. Snaps the losing streak and slowly but surely he gets things back on track. But he should probably retire after this one. But what I'll tell you is going to happen. I'm going to tell you this right now. Matt Schnell's going to win, and he's going to do another fight because he's going to have confidence again. And he ain't retiring, bro. So shout out to him. Let's keep running up. Next fight on the card, it's our main card opener. If you guys are watching and you haven't yet, make sure you hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We got Ikram Aliskerov versus André Muniz. It's Ikram Aliskerov. That's simple as that. I think Aliskerov is going to absolutely handle Muniz. I mean, listen, bro. Muniz had Jung Park mounting him. And Jung Park's a decent wrestler and has some boxing, but he hasn't mounted him. He isn't able to find a finish against Park. And now Ikram Aliskerov, and like he didn't look great against Park. I mean, he got a split decision, but a close one. And I feel like more damage was done on the side of Park. I think Aliskerov gets caught on the feet with punches. I think Aliskerov catches Muniz on the feet with punches. Don't get it twisted. Muniz striking is slow, plodding striking, very arm punch heavy, just not good at stand-up. Hittable for sure. I think Aliskerov could chin André Muniz on the feet. On the ground, Aliskerov, I don't see him getting submitted. I think his Sambo-esque wrestling base from Dagestan defeats André Muniz's very offensive-minded jiu-jitsu from bottom position. I think Aliskerov can get him to the ground. I think Aliskerov can get on top. I think Aliskerov can beat him up. I think Aliskerov can outbox him. I really feel like Aliskerov can kind of win this fight in a multitude of facets. Like, I think he can do it in multiple ways, you know, whether it be striking or grappling. I think that Aliskerov is just simply put a better fighter. He's got pretty good hooks and overhands. His boxing's pretty dangerous with KO power and extremely strong wrestling. He's taken on a kind of one-dimensional André Muniz who has good jiu-jitsu, but I don't know, man. I think we're going to see Muniz panic grapple, and I think that could get him knocked out or finished on the ground. I think that Aliskerov is going to beat him up, man. I really feel like Ikram's good. I know that, you know, Rob Whittaker knocked him out of one big punch, but like the level jump from Rob Whittaker elite status to André Muniz, this is a vast step down in competition. Fucking up Warley Alves was impressive. Fucking up Phil Hall is impressive. Even beating Mario Souza by finish on the mat, and Souza was an okay prospect. Yeah, Ikram Aliskerov should dog walk André Muniz. And I do think he finishes him. I feel like Muniz folds. I think Aliskerov lands some big shots and Muniz turtles up and gets finished with a little bit of ground and pound. So I'm going to go Ikram Aliskerov by KO. I don't think Muniz has got the gusto to hang in there for 3 rounds either. Aliskerov at -655 is a disgusting favorite. Opened at -700 though. So holy shit. Plus 480 from Muniz as a dog. Yeah, this is a squash match. This is a squash match. That's all it is. The over is -125. I think this fight goes under 2.5. I think the fight ends inside of the distance. And I think most likely Aliskerov KO TKO. I think you can hurt Muniz in striking. I think you can beat him up on the ground. I think you can out-wrestle him. I think you can get mount and just pound him out. I just don't see André Muniz finding a way to win. I mean, listen, he did okay, I guess, early against Craig, but then he got fucking finished on the ground. Brendan Allen subbed him. Win against Uriah Hall by decision years ago. What's that mean now? Eric Anders armbar? I mean, bro, it's Eric Anders, you know? The Jung Park split decision a year and 4 months ago. Nah. Ikram Aliskerov is going to beat the shit out of André Muniz. Enough said here. Next fight on the card, we got Randy Brown versus Nicolas Dalby. Ooh, I'm going to pick Randy Brown. I like this fight, actually. And I think Randy Brown's a dangerous stand-up fighter, but not a bad defensive grappler. I mean, Brian Battle tried like hell to drag his ass to the ground, and all he did was, you know, make the fans boo the fuck out of him as he just smothered him against the cage. Randy Brown's boxing is legit. Really long reach. 78-inch reach, good striking from the outside, fast hands for sure, good straight shots. he does have knockout power. Like Randy Brown has moments where it's like, damn, his striking looks good. The thing with Nicolas Dalby, he's just one of those relentless pressure fighters. He's in your face the entire fucking time, not backing down from the fight, trying. He's not going to give up. Like Nicolas Dalby's toughness, unreal. Absolutely does not wilt nor give up on himself. But I think that Randy Brown is, significantly more tactical and skillful in striking. Definitely the better boxer, has an advantage from that long range, that green zone. I'll favor the striking Randy Brown all day. Speed advantage, I think the better KO puncher, to be honest. Like I know Dalby was able to finish his Gabriel Bonfim, excuse me, but I just don't think of Dalby as a heavy-handed guy, more of a guy who overwhelms you. And I don't think that Brown's getting overwhelmed. He's got a good gas tank, got good lateral movement. I don't think he's getting pinned against the cage for 3 rounds. Nicolas Dalby had a good back and forth fight against Renat Fakhretdinov, and it was actually close, but he still got put down in that fight. And I think Brown could put him down with the right hand too. As Dalby's looking to bring the pressure, Brown stings him with a dynamite straight shot. The thing is with Dalby, he's going to outwork people that don't have that same grit. Brown is a longtime UFC vet. He's not going to wilt here. I feel like Randy Brown is going to strike well from long range. I think Dalby's going to be consistent with pressure. I think Brown's going to touch him up. I do think Brown could end up knocking him out, which, Nicolas Dalby's chin is normally pretty good. I mean, he was KO'd once. KO'd once against Jesse Steroid Freak Ronson in the UFC. But, the losses to guys on steroids, they don't count, right? He tested positive for fucking, metilidone. He did some D-balls and shit. I think that Randy Brown handles Nicolas Dalby, though. I think Dalby is going to look to be relentless to pressure, but he's 40 years old. He had a nice win streak cooking up, and I respect Dalby's grit, but I think Randy Brown is going to be too quick, too fast twitch, man. Too long, too good from the outside. Younger guy, more seasoned, like more prime. It's not more seasoned. Dalby got a shitload of fights. Both these guys got a shitload of fights, but I think Randy Brown can do work here. I could see him dropping Nicolas Dalby. Could he put him away? Tough to say. Dalby comes in like amazing shape, which gives him, insane recovery. But I do think Randy Brown's live for a knockout in this spot here. So with the big length advantage, I think Brown has his way and handles business against Nicolas Dalby. Dalby's plus 195, gritty dog. Randy Brown minus 230 is the favorite. Give me Randy Brown all day. Minus 285 for the over. It probably is a decision. I can see Brown being tactical, some back and forth moments, but Brown landing bigger shots. Dalby trying to pressure and even having some success pressuring Brown up against the cage, but Brown finding his way to escape, landing stinging shots as Dalby looks to pressure forward, maybe busting his nose up or something. But I'm telling you, that right hand is there. And I could see Randy Brown putting Dalby on his ass. It's just, can he knock him out? Tough to say because Dalby historically has had insane toughness. So we shall find out. But either way, Randy Brown to handle business against Dalby seems like a high likely outcome. Let's keep running. Next fight. Michel Pereira versus Abus Magomedov. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. I'm going Abus Magomedov. I'm going Abus Magomedov, man. Michel Pereira, okay? He is a guy that I have picked with confidence in the past. And, I've had success, but I've also had not success too. The worry with Michel is he is an explosive, fast-starting onslaught of just terror, okay? But what happens when you don't fade, and you don't get finished, right? He got handled badly against Fluffy Hernandez for, nearly 5 rounds, 4.5 rounds. He started fast. He had good moments early, which he normally does. The problem with Pereira is he lacks that consistency. He's big, strong, powerful, and explosive. And my God, he burst onto the middleweight scene as a legitimate nightmare. Win against André Petroski, win against Oleg Jacek, win against Polyana. All these fights are like a minute or less. And he looked horrifying. It's like, yo, he's going to the top right away. Then, he had good moments early against Hernandez, but kind of got tired after 3 minutes of fighting. I know he survived for a long time, but he was on his back a shitload in that fight. The reason I'm picking against Michel Pereira is because he's kind of a first round or bust type of attack. Now, yes, he's won decisions and whatnot, but in this matchup here, Abus Magomedov, if he is to survive the early stage of this fight, there is a substantial percentage of drop in danger from Michel Pereira as we go from, start of round one to 3 minutes in to then start of round two to end of round two. He's just not the same guy. So if you can survive the monsoon attack in the early stages of the fight, you can get him to the ground. Abus Magomedov's got good wrestling. Abus Magomedov has good submissions. And Abus Magomedov has a sniper striking style and a massive reach advantage, which should keep him on the safer side in this matchup here. Being tactical against Michel Pereira and avoiding his early blitzes, even potentially tying up with him, trying to hold him against the cage, even if it's unsuccessful for landing a takedown or doing any damage, containing the beast. And as the fight wears on, Michel Pereira will slow down. Abus Magomedov will become more consistent with finding strikes on the feet and his ability to get this fight to the ground. I think Abus Magomedov can win a decision here. I could see Michel Pereira feeling the fight heading into, round number 2, starting to fade, getting put on his back, and wilting. Michel Pereira seems to have that slight quit factor that I don't like to see in a fighter. Just ever so slight quit factor. He falls into the temptations of the flesh. He got exposed for having what? The girlfriend that he was bringing to the events while he was married. Now, it's all speculation and whatnot. But listen, if true, that same wilt that he has in the cage falls into that same temptation that he has outside of it with the ladies, bro. This is a crazy theory, but I think it lines up in some capacity that Michel Pereira can fall victim to himself, and that doubt can come in. That doubt comes in as Abus Magomedov survives the early blitz. Abus Magomedov hits him with a good straight shot. Abus Magomedov is hard to hit from long range. Abus Magomedov lands a takedown. Pereira is now losing faith in his abilities consistently over the course of the fight. And I don't think that he is able to find a late finish. That's ultimately the key here. I think if Michel Pereira was, consistently winning fights throughout later stage knockouts and, didn't have that potential wilt factor in, then okay, we could talk about maybe in the third round, he loses the second, wins the first, and then comes back late. I just don't know, man. I feel like Michel Pereira loses that oomph later. I really think it's like first round savagery or bust. It's Michel Pereira in round 1 or it's Abus Magomedov winning. I think those are the two outcomes. And I will favor the side of Abus Magomedov surviving the early chaos and finding a way to win. I saw him training with Ikram Aliskerov. I said, wrestling? Absolutely. Michel Pereira, he's explosive, so he has decent grappling defense, but as the fight wears on, there will be opportunities to drag his ass to the ground, and Abus Magomedov is a fucking beast from top position. Not with the ferocious from hell ground and pound, but control and threats of submission. Then you know what? Submitting Bruno Ferreira last time I think is impressive. Ferreira's a fucking badass powerhouse. And Abus Magomedov was able to drag his ass to the ground and submit him after getting hurt with a big punch. And I don't feel like Bruno Ferreira has that same wilt thing as Pereira. Doesn't have the same terrifying onslaught of athleticism early, but still very heavy-handed. And I would argue that Michel Pereira, though he's powerful, he's not an elite caliber boxer. I would say Ferreira's got better boxing than Michel Pereira, but overall striking arsenal, a little bit of a sharper blade on Pereira's side and more speed. Yeah, I'm going to say Abus Magomedov finds a way to win this fight. I think it's a dog fight for sure. And early in the fight, Pereira's going to test him. If Abus can stay tactical, Abus can win this fight. I'm going Abus Magomedov to beat Michel Pereira in this matchup here. And I think a decision or potentially even a submission in the, second or third round is live. Odds for the fight, Michel minus 150 as the fave, plus 130 for Abus Magomedov. I think that honestly, Abus should be the favorite. I do. Abus should be the favorite. Over is minus 165. Interesting, right? If the over is minus 165 and Michel Pereira is the favorite, that surprises me a bit. That surprises me a bit because I really think that if Michel Pereira is to win this fight, it would more likely be under a round and a half and him finishing Abus Magomedov. We get into the later stage, I think that Abus can drag this fight to the ground. And I know there's been moments of cardio issues from Abus, but I do think he kind of showed an improvement in that area with the fight against Bruno Ferreira. So I'm going to go Abus Magomedov. I think he can drag this fight into the deep waters with a tactical game plan, getting this fight to the ground, finding success from top position, maybe even submitting Pereira, but at the very least garnering control time of a tired Pereira who slowly but surely loses confidence. But it all comes down to surviving the hell that round number 1 will bring. So we're going to go Abus Magomedov to find a way to deal with the monsoon in Michel Pereira. I'm going with the Dagestani. We're going Magomedov for the W, and it's an upset too. Let's keep running. Next fight. Giga Chikadze versus David Onama. You guys know I had Giga Chikadze on the money line last week, so shout out to Giga. How do I pick, though? Listen, I'm not making picks based on me being buddies with anybody. I'll pick against fighters on the show or not. There's nothing on it that's pushing my bias. But I'll tell you this. I'm going to pick Giga Chikadze because I think he can beat David Onama. I look at David Onama's fight against Romero, and I think Romero's a good prospect. I'm picking him to win on this card. He got fucking badly dropped in that fight. And outstruck in multiple matchups, man. And I know that he doesn't quit on himself, and he's got good athleticism. It's just David Onama is at a tactical disadvantage against Giga Chikadze. Chikadze still looked good early against Arnold Allen. Chikadze is still very tactical. He still has good movement. Chikadze's 36, but he's not past his prime. I don't think he looks washed. I think Chikadze has actually gotten better. I know some people might say, bro, you're crazy. What about the Calvin Kattar fight? That was a long time ago. Okay, it was 3 years ago. And he did pretty good with Arnold Allen and made it close. And Arnold Allen is a phenomenal prospect. David Onama has not beaten anybody to that level. Onama's wins are against prospects. Win against the debuting Romero, who's fighting on this card, and I'm picking him. Win against Jonathan Pierce, who got released from the UFC. Win against Gabriel Santos, who's a badass prospect, and he landed the perfect shot. It was a nice knockout, but I still stand on Santos having more potential than him, and I think Santos is winning. I like Santos a lot. He got caught, though. I like Santos. I'm a fan. Not trying to cope hard, but maybe a little bit. I think Giga Chikadze can be tactical in this fight and find success in striking. I think David Onama looks to implement some wrestling. I think that he will be relatively surprised at the defensive abilities and grappling that Giga Chikadze has developed. I know Giga Chikadze is doing a lot of work consistently on his wrestling with Merab Dvalishvili. I understand Merab might be a bantamweight, but he is one of the most relentless pressure wrestlers on fucking planet Earth, okay? So I think training wrestling defensively against a guy like Merab, regardless of a size differential, is going to have him ready for Onama's wrestling attack, which isn't that substantial. I mean, it's there. He's okay. He can land a takedown, but it's not a strong suit in his game. When I think of Onama, I think of power. I think of, decent hands and ability to knock people out. But he's also not super precise, not super accurate. He doesn't give up on himself, and he'll find big shots. But I think Giga Chikadze is so much sharper with his striking technique that he can move, use his range well, avoid Onama's blitzes. I think he could crack Onama with big shots. I mean, my God, when Giga Chikadze has those moments where he's on, he is terrifying. And he's still an extremely high-caliber kickboxer. And his development in grappling is going to be, I think, a very key element to this fight. Because Onama now looking to potentially drag this thing to the mat, loses confidence as Giga Chikadze's hips are there and he's stopping takedowns and he's landing big kicks and punches from the outside. I think it's a close fight. I think David Onama has moments. I think David Onama is a tough prospect. I've picked Onama a shit ton in the past, and I like David Onama. But Giga Chikadze is sharp, man. Even going back and looking, I'm like, okay, he's still moving with Arnold Allen come round 3. If he can keep it, especially if it turns into more of a Giga Chikadze tactical fight, David Onama will thrive more so in a brawl, but I don't think he baits Giga into that. And I just am not confident in David Onama's ability to strike enough so to deal with a guy that is so skillful in stand-up, right? There's guys that are less skilled in the technicality aspect that find success, but I'm just not confident in Onama's ability to close the gap, knock Giga Chikadze out, knock him down, hit him with some wild shots. Like Giga is going to have kind of that Matrix style defense where he's seeing all these shots coming. The guy's got a shitload of striking experience. And now developing a defensive grappling game, Onama probably looking to drag this fight to the ground, then met with resistance. I can see him getting outstruck. Could Onama drag him down one time? Sure. Could Giga Chikadze absolutely beat Onama's ass and have people saying, oh shit, we overlooked the fuck out of him? He still got it at 36? Absolutely. I think Giga Chikadze does still have it. I think Onama's a decent talent, but like his wins are not wow. He's beaten all prospects. He hasn't beaten anybody in the contendership tier. Whereas Giga Chikadze, say what you want about Bruce Leroy. Bruce Leroy has been there on that roster in the top 15, and he was in that, gatekeeper spot for years. Giga handled that. Giga beat Edson Barboza, which is absolutely badass. He has 3 years ago, but I still think he has the oomph. Fucked up Cub Swanson badly 4 years ago. And then the Calvin Kattar loss was bad. Took some time off. Didn't look great against Caceres, but looked good. He looked technical, right? Looked very patient. Did good in the first round against Arnold Allen. Picked his shots really nicely. Kicking skills were on point. Striking overall is on point. Volume is there. But Arnold Allen is elite and in his prime on the way to the top. I think Giga Chikadze beats an unproven prospect in David Onama, who's a tough customer, has been on the roster for a while, but isn't ready for this tier. I'm going Giga Chikadze. I think Chikadze has more weapons. I think Chikadze can work kicks to the legs, kicks to the body, defend takedowns, strike well from the mid and long range. And I think Giga Chikadze finds himself a hard-fought win against a tough, athletic customer in David Onama, but it keeps him amongst the elite, and expect a big call-out after the fight of you-know-who. Of you-know-who, bro. I got the inside call-out scoop on who he's calling out. I'm going with Giga Chikadze. I do think he beats David Onama. Plus 150, Giga Chikadze. Minus 175, David Onama. Yeah, he should handle him. I think so. Oops. Over is minus 175. Probably does go over 2.5. Giga could find the knockout, but Onama does have a pretty solid chin. Yeah, man. I'm going Giga Chikadze. He survives the Onama punching power. I think he should, definitely. Onama trying to grapple. Giga defends. Kicks to the leg, kicks to the body. Strikes from range. I'm going Giga Chikadze on the judges' scorecards. Giga for the W. Takes out David Onama. And I'm surprised he's this big of a dog. I think the reason the odds are like this is, I don't know, there's an assumption that he's washed. But like, how do you gather that from the Arnold Allen fight? I don't think that makes sense. Went 3 hard rounds with Arnold Allen and gave him a good test. And Arnold Allen's high level. Arnold Allen, I mean, if it's a different rule set, Arnold Allen's the only guy to beat Movzar. I know he didn't, but you know what I'm saying? He went tooth and nail with Movzar. I don't think Onama's ready for this level. I'm going Giga Chikadze. Let's go. Let's keep running. Next fight on the card, co-main event of the evening. Anthony Lionheart Smith versus Ming Yang Zhang. The retirement fight of Anthony Smith. You know what I think when I hear retirement fight of Anthony Smith? Ming Yang Zhang knockout round number 1. Listen, the way Ming Yang Zhang loses this fight is if he shoots a damn takedown with his neck out and gets caught in a ghillie. But if we're talking the reality of it, Ming Yang Zhang is a hungry, up-and-coming striker with big knockout power, a good ability to close distance and throw bombs, and Anthony Smith looks consistently worse each and every time that he's fought. Hand speed seems to not be there anymore. Grappling is still kind of there, but it's like, okay, though. To give Anthony Smith some credit, though, like losses against Dominic Reyes, my God, that's aged well. And he wasn't mentally there, but he got his ass kicked by Reyes. I know that his friend had passed away. Fight before that, Roman Dolidze dominated him for 3 rounds. Fight before that, though, he got that sub over Petrino. Like I said, Petrino shooting with his neck out. Khalil Roundtree knocked him out, but he survived moments. But I do think Ming Yang Zhang's boxing's too much, man. 26 years old in his prime, Smith in his retirement fight. Ming Yang Zhang running through people right now. Knockout of Ozzy Diaz. Knockout of Brenson Ibero. Knockout even of Tokos. That was impressive. Honestly, these 2 wins are solid because Ibero's striking is pretty damn good, man. Brenson Ibero can mix it up on the feet. Like, you got to put respect on Brenson Ibero's name. Like, he actually is good. Like, he just beat Nurgajai in the big upset. And Nurgajai was supposed to be a really talented up-and-comer. And Brenson Ibero didn't give a fuck. He beat his ass. And then, Ozzy Diaz. Actually, Ozzy Diaz is pretty tough, man. Close win against DeJordan Santos, who's a skillful striker. And, like, Ming Yang Zhang is destroying people. The worry with Zhang is the lack of high-level experience, for sure. The UFC knows what they're doing. They're like, okay, Anthony Smith, either he takes out a prospect that turns out to be a bit of a bust, or Ming Yang Zhang knocks Anthony Smith out and his stock grows overnight, because there's a lot of fans that don't know Ming Yang Zhang. If you're, more in the casual tier, you're like, Ming Yang Zhang, who is he? Look, he got a lot of knockouts. Ming Yang Zhang is a legitimate up-and-comer in the light heavyweight division to keep an eye on. Boxing-based pressure power style that is super impressive. And Anthony Smith seemingly wilting with guys that have heavy hands these days. He's not getting any younger. And I can't, man. I can't pick Lionheart. I think that Ming Yang Zhang could put him away. I do. I don't think Anthony Smith has the speed. He's showed obvious signs of slowing down over recent years. And I think Ming Yang Zhang is slowly but surely coming into his own. I think Ming Yang Zhang lands some devastating shots, stings up Anthony Smith with some bombs. And I think Ming Yang Zhang is going to knock Anthony Smith out. And people are going to say, oh shit, who's the mountain tiger? Well, you'll find out. I'm hype as hell actually for this fight because this is the chance. Like Ming Yang Zhang winning this fight, sky's the limit now. He's in the top 15. Big fights only after. And China's got a fucking scary prospect at light heavyweight. I think he does get past the Anthony Smith test. This is the setup fight. I know Petrino absolutely sold, but you know, Petrino's shooting just a low IQ takedown. And Petrino got destroyed by Jacoby. Vitor Petrino turned out to be a bit overrated. Could Ming Yang Zhang beat? Maybe. But I think Ming Yang Zhang is smart enough to not shoot a fucking double leg with that neck just sitting out trying to pick him up and put himself in the gilly. I think Ming Yang Zhang smart enough to know it's got to be stand up. And I think he can land the bomb. And I think he can put Anthony Smith down and put Anthony Smith out. I'm going Ming Yang Zhang, the mountain tiger, to beat Anthony Smith in his retirement fight. And I'm hype as shit for this fight, man. This is actually an amazing matchup. When you really think of the OG status, I've seen Anthony Smith in the Strike Force. I remember when he beat Lumumba Sayers, man. And now, finally, you know, the retirement fight that we thought was coming sooner takes on a dangerous Chinese light heavyweight who's got thud pop, okay? Concrete fist. Yeah, Ming Yang Zhang for the KO has to be the call. And he's a minus 525 favorite. My God, the odds are wide. Plus 400 for Anthony Smith. It is what it is, guys. It is what it is, man. Does it go over a round and a half? It's plus 195 if it does. Anthony Smith somehow triangle choke from bottom position, pulls out the W, and Ming Yang Zhang gets exposed. Oh, I don't think Smith's got it anymore, man. I think Smith goes out there, tries for sure, gets clobbered with a couple shots, still tries to slug back, but shows an obvious disadvantage in the speed department. And I think Ming Yang Zhang hurts him and then TKOs him with some like ground and pound against the cage or something after blitzing him with some really big punches. The 26-year-old light heavyweight prospect from China getting a violent win. Ming Yang Zhang by knockout. Let's jump to the main event of the evening. If you guys haven't yet, make sure you hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. We got Ian Machado Garry versus Carlos Prates. Oh my, oh my, oh my. I'm going with Ian Machado Garry. I'm picking Ian Machado Garry over Prates. Listen, I'm a Prates guy. I'm a Fighting Nerds fan, but I'm a realist, okay? He has not been put against anybody in the UFC that has the arsenal of skills that Ian Garry has. And I really believe that Ian Garry is coming into his own at 27 years of age. Giving Shavkat Rakhmonov an absolute run for his money last time, I thought he looked real solid in that fight. Striking moments alongside of the grappling success. Carlos Prates is terrifying. Like, that's just the truth about his stand-up. He is terrifying. He's a power hitter southpaw with a ton of experience in Muay Thai / kickboxing. And he's really clean on the feet with legit knockout power. And he's got good combinations on the feet too. And he's able to slowly but surely drown his opponents with the barrage of combinations and pressure. And the combinations are spectacular. And the kicks and punches are all spectacular. But Ian Garry does have quick kickboxing too, though. Ian Garry's a skillful striker. I would actually say I think Ian Garry's the better kicker between the two of them. Now, I think that Carlos Prates brings the danger threat in the boxing range and in the clinch with his knees to the body. What he did to Charles Radke was absolutely insane with that knee to the body, putting him down. And Prates does like that knee to the body. But there's been moments in fights where Prates has been backed up with combinations, hit, and pressed against the cage. I believe Ian Garry making this an MMA fight can push Carlos Prates to the limit and put him in a place that he has never been before. This is a 5-round fight in MMA, and I know Prates has got a shitload of striking experience, but I also know Prates smokes cigarettes. You can say, oh, it doesn't matter. His gas tank's still good. I think Carlos Prates could strike for 10 rounds, but the game changes when there's a mix-up of grappling in there. Okay, I think when you start mixing in the martial arts and Ian Garry smothers him against the cage, Ian Garry hits that trip takedown, Ian Garry has some control on the mat, Prate's gas tank starts to dwindle, the power threat starts to be less substantial, and Ian Garry starts to have more offensive striking success alongside of finding success mixing in the grappling. Ian Garry was able to find a way to win. You can call it grapple fucking all you want, but he found a way to win against the most unorthodox karate specialist in MMA, maybe ever, in Michael Venom Page. Yes, Michael Venom Page striking looked slick in that fight. Yes, Michael Venom Page looked like a slightly better striker, and Ian Garry had a hard time hitting him. Prates brings terrifying striker, but he's not as hard to hit as somebody like MVP. Prates is there to be cracked. He sits in and he's looking to land bombs because Prates is an absolute finisher. With that, though, I think Ian Garry can turn this into the MMA fight using a well-versed skill set. I think Ian Garry's jiu-jitsu has improved a lot. And I feel like Prates is getting more respect on his grappling abilities than should be given because of the unknown factor, right? Inside of the UFC, we haven't really seen the grappling from him, right? Yes, he's at Fighting Nerds. Yes, Kyle Barrios there. But does that mean that Carlos Prates is as high caliber on the mat? No, I don't think so. I think his striking is where he shines, and he's terrifying. Garry has been in there with Shavkat, and he went 5 rounds with Shavkat in a tooth and nail war, stepping in to take on the boogeyman of the division and making him look so human. I just can't pick against an Ian Garry that was able to show a well-versed skill set against Shavkat, and also the gas tank looked real solid over the 5 rounds. Making this an MMA fight, I do think that Ian Garry can win. Prates has more power. There's no argument. Prates is the heavier puncher. I would say he's the more dangerous striker, but Ian Garry is an accurate kickboxer. And I do think Ian Garry can still land shots on the feet. I think he can definitely land some kicks, not just the punches, but the kicking arsenal. When they tie up, I'm interested to see what happens. Yes, you'll say, oh, well, Neil Magny tried that outside single and couldn't get Prates down. Neil Magny does not have the explosiveness on the takedown nor the awareness. I think that Ian Garry could shoot an outside single like that, turn it into a trip, or potentially into a back take with a little pickup slam action afterwards. And I think Ian Garry can find success on the mat. I think he can control Prates on the ground, beat him up a bit on the ground. I think it's going to be a competitive fight, and I think Prates will have moments. And there may be a moment where Ian Garry is caught with a big punch, and there could even be a flash knockdown. I got to pop out the Zin for this. But I think Ian Garry's chin holds up, and I think his well-versed MMA skill set comes to shine. He spent time with the Shoot the Box Diego Lima team. I have to say, I think his jiu-jitsu skill set is going to be an advantage here. I think mixing in grappling is a key to victory. If he just strikes with Carlos Prates, that could be a recipe for disaster, but he won't do that. He will eventually force his way into a dominant position on the mat, and I think he finds success from there. Could threaten with a submission. Ian Garry, I mean, listen, he threatened the sub on Shavkat Rakhmonov, who's an absolute monster on the mat. I don't think Prates is to that level. Prates, Muay Thai on the chest, he's striking for life. And I think Ian Garry finds a way to win a close fight. I think we could see 5 rounds. Back and forth 5 rounds. Ian Garry steals 3 or 4 rounds. And I think he beats the boogeyman in Carlos Prates with a very tactical game plan. Ian Garry shows a high fight IQ in this one because he's going to need to stick to an intelligent game plan. You turn it into a brawl and a striking onslaught of just going chaotic with Carlos Prates, there's a high chance you are looking up at the motherfucking light saying, what the hell happened afterwards? But I think Ian Garry and his team around him smart enough to create a strategy to exploit the weakness of Prates. Turn it into an MMA fight, slow the beast down. Wear on that power bar, get the gas tank dwindling. And then he'll find some striking success too. As Prates is reaching for shots, Gary's going to land some counters. I think Ian Garry takes it on the scorecards. In an MMA fight, I think it's an Ian Garry night. I'm going with Garry for the win over Carlos Prates, minus 125, bro. Put the odds even, okay? It's a 50-50 badass fight. Plus 105 for Carlos Prates. I love the matchup. I love the matchup, guys. I love the matchup. Over 2.5, minus 180. I think we're going over 2.5 at minus 180. I think Ian Garry's winning on the judges' scorecards. I think is going to be terrifying in the striking arsenal for round 1 and 2 because Prates does carry so much devastation with his shots. I really think Ian Garry neutralizes the Prates threat. At 27, too, like Ian Garry is showing improvement. Not saying Prates isn't improving, but like the opposition's different. Neil Magny, yes. Prates knocked him out and Garry beat him by decision, but Garry beat the fuck out of Neil Magny for 3 rounds. Fuck how it ended, okay? The Leech knockout, badass. Respect to it. It was absolutely sensational. But it's Leech. Leech likes to brawl. Charles Racky KO. Listen, Racky's a fun guy to watch, but he's not amongst the elite. He's not going 5 rounds with Shavkat. Trevin Giles, flatlining him. Giles actually had a couple moments. So I just think you look at the opposition. This is great prospect opposition. We got a year and 7 months since Contender Series. You know, a year and 8 months ago, Garry handled Neil Magny. And then he went to war with Jeff Neal and won a competitive fight. Jeff Neal's a gangster, though. And, you know, still, a year and 2 months of improvement for Ian Garry is serious. Goes out there and finds a way to beat Michael Venom Page. Say what you want about the approach. It was effective because Michael Venom Page is a monstrous striker. Okay, super hard to find success against. And then 5 rounds with Shavkat, he shows a new level 4 months ago. I think he's reaching a new high here. I think this is going to be the best Ian Machado Garry we've ever seen. And he's taking on a monster in Carlos Prates, who's absolutely a fan favorite. But I'm going with Team Ian Machado Garry to get it done in a competitive fight with the dangerous striking practitioner in Carlos Prates. I'm damn excited. I think Fighting Nerds, I mean, they've taken some L's. They write off the fighters that lose. But the big 4 in the Fighting Nerds, one of them's due for a loss, and I think it's Carlos Prates losing to the tough Irishman and talented Irishman, Ian Garry, this Saturday. So Machado Garry by decision is the pick for the main event of UFC Kansas City. I hope you guys enjoyed the full card predictions. Damn, I enjoyed the hell out of this, actually. This card is so badass. I love this fight night. We had a week off. I'm back with the Mean Vengeance. I'm back excited and ready to go. The daily content is back as well. Had a little hiatus action, but now your boy is back every single day. Hey, and if you're watching this on Easter Sunday, happy Easter to you guys for those that are celebrating. Much love to the people. Let me know. I want to hear your picks for the main event. I want to hear your picks for, honestly, a lot of fights on the card. Like some of these close bangers on the main card, I want to hear from you guys. So definitely let me know some of your favorite predictions down in the comments below. And let me know what you think of mine. I'm excited as hell for this Saturday. Fight Companion coming back at you. I need some UFC, man. All right? I'm hungry for UFC. I feel like I'm starving right now. Hope you guys enjoyed. Smash the likes on your way out. If you're new, subscribe. Turn the post notifications on too. You don't want to miss a damn video or live stream. Okay? Keep it locked in on the channel. I love you all. W's in the comments if you got nothing to say. And if you really enjoyed the breakdown, share it with a friend. Let's grow the channel together. Share the video. I appreciate you all. I'll see you all in the next one. Much love. Peace out.